This upcoming week is a great week for some outstanding indie games. We got an MMO coming up, we got some horror games, and even a highly anticipated sandbox. I'm smiling, my wallet is crying, and you're waiting for me to start with number 1, so let's get started. Let's get started with a highly anticipated sandbox called Hydroneer. It lets you play around with anything from shovels to hydro-powered tools, which you'll need in a constant hunt for gold and other resources. With the voxel-based terrain system, you can create your own cave networks, quarry pits, and even mountains, and if mud castles aren't your thing, then you make your own base out of the modular system to get the max out of your digging operations. The game features a dynamic modular system for building structures and a hydro-powered machinery. The game screams freedom, and if I may add it is quite amazing how it was made by a solo game developer. Be sure to check the game out when it comes out on Steam on the 8th of May. What do you do when the Earth is dying and you need resources from a populated planet? You just need to be a walker. I know what you're thinking, I also had a moment of doubt with including this one, but be a walker can understandably be overlooked by its stupid looking simplicity. I mean, even the developers Tequila Byte Studio call it the weirdest and most cruel walking simulator out there, but look at it. The graphics are great, it offers 2 storylines where you can either kill the natives or the invaders, and you need to operate the 2 legs separately. At the very least, it'll be fun for whoever wanted the Ewok village to be destroyed in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Be a Walker will be available on Steam on the 7th of May 2020. I always like Metroidvania games with some intense combat and visual-driven stories, and Anto is just that. The story is set in the era of feudal Japan, where a man needs to take up his samurai sword once again when his child is taken from him. The combat is a combination of risky parry maneuvers, bouncing off your opponent and evading their attacks of course. The game has a varied assortment of enemies with different fighting styles, and the pixel art animation looks great. If you're up for a Metroidvania indie, Anto is coming out on Steam on May 8th.
You make everything so hard. I wish you'd stayed away.
Next up we have the story-driven psychological horror game Someday You'll Return. A father is forced by the disappearance of his daughter to return to a place he swore he would never return to. Along the search you can craft items and brew potions, which you'll need as certain darker forces rise up against you. But despite its strong horror elements, the game deals with more intimate concepts of fatherhood, fears, lies, and the refusal to accept one's past. How this ties in with the karmic system that influences the ending through your actions remains to be seen, but we'll find out on May 5th. Population Zero is an MMO where every gameplay session lasts about 168 hours, so that means the server gets wiped every week. And in that week you need to survive in harsh environments with some of the more unique wildlife I've seen in a while. And as the more you play, your account level rises and you start unlocking more modes. This includes, for example, the hardcore PvP mode where you only have 1 life, and if you're killed by a beast or a fellow player, you join the ranks of the Void, which are an overpowered monster that can only be defeated when the last survivors team up to take you down. And Population Zero has some huge potential, but I'd advise not to buy it instantly, as these kinds of games do tend to have some server issues at launch. But you can decide for yourself when it comes out on May 5th on Steam.
But luckily, we are dealing with professionals, each with their own tip-top plan to survive and kill these crafty aliens, whoever they are.
If you're up for some deceiving, Enemy on Board has you locked up on a spaceship with 5 other players. 2 of you are shape-shifting aliens who try to overtake the ship by eliminating the others. The other 4 need to figure out who the 2 aliens are, and the last team standing wins. The developers, who are former Riot Game employees, plan to keep releasing new content and updates regularly, just like their former employer does with League of Legends. Enemy on Board is free to play and coming out on May 8th on Steam. If you're in the mood for a couch co-op, Pushy and Pulley in Blokland has you covered. Either alone or with a friend, you can play through 50 lovely designed levels as, you guessed it, Pushy and or Pulley. Push blocks into enemies to defeat them, join blocks of the same color to get power-ups, and there are even 5 pretty well designed boss fights heading your way. It's a cute looking game that feels different thanks to the co-op aspect, the ability to play competitively on the leaderboards, and it looks to have some great designed levels. It looks great for a co-op game, and you can try it out when it comes out on Steam on the 5th of May.
You've always tried to protect me, my big sister, but this was meant to be. It's now my turn to protect you.
In Close to the Sun, you play as the journalist Rose in the search of her sister, right after she boards the Helios, a supposedly haven to scientists, but in reality the ship has been turned into a horror movie which doesn't shy away from gore and jump scares. The major press outlets who have had the chance to play it describe it as a Bioshock-like experience without combat. So if creepy boats, horrifying murder scenes and challenging puzzles don't scare you away, be sure to check out Close to the Sun when it comes out on May 5th. Spirit of the North is a single-player, third-person adventure game inspired by the breathtaking and mysterious landscapes of Iceland. I play as an ordinary red fox whose story becomes entwined with the guardian of the Northern Lights, a female spirit fox. Now the game is unique in that it purposefully does not have any dialogue or narrative. Instead, players can run around in their surroundings to solve various puzzles and speculate the meaning of the ancient lost civilization. The game looks great and will be available on May 7th. My personal favorite in the week to come is Wintermore Tactics Club. It follows Alicia, who is trying to survive high school with her tactics club intact as she's trying to unravel a mystery that haunts the school. You experience the story in a quite frankly beautiful art style that is based on visual novels and that I truly love. But when a need for combat arises, the fellow students in your club become part of a board game style turn-based combat, and the battles don't always suggest it being a battle for life or death, but rather a way to dealing with the personal problems of the characters. Wintermore Tactics Club is shaping up to be one of the best releases of May 2020, but we'll know for sure when it releases on May 5th on all major platforms. There we go, those were some of my personal favorite games that are coming out this week. And be sure to let me know down in the comments below which one caught your eye, and if you liked the video, be sure to click the thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this one. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.